Would you like to minimize the risk of failure on your SAP PI system when you're implementing new things? Then Figaf Integration Regression Testing Tool, or IRT, is something for you. So what will it do? So it enables you to record live messages, so you can install a small agent on your different PI systems, your productive, your test and development system, and then you can click and select which ICOs you want to record. You can record messages going through that interface, and then you can set up test cases where you just send in messages through your existing ICO on your development system. So you can test that everything works as it's supposed to be. So you're running the test, regression test, with just all the recorded messages and expected result. And then you're verifying the original messages with the corresponding test result to see what's going on and how well these different messages are. So let me just show how this works. So here we have an ICO on our productive system. So what happened is that the user selected this ICO. He clicks, I want to add modules to it. He adds the modules to it. And we're getting a module in the beginning of the sending communication channel and at the end of the receiving communication channel. And then he presses that if you want to record these messages, and then this module will see, should I record messages now? Yes. Then it puts the message into an MQQ and put a flag in the message, so whenever the message reaches the receiving component, it will also be put into the MQQ. Then the test system picks up the messages, and they are then ready for a test case. So then once you want to test, you send in the message through the XI3 protocol, which means we're able to reuse your existing ICO, and the messages go through all the operation mappings, all your modules, and go through, and at the end it's being picked up by our module and it's being sent to the comparison. So let me just show you how this works. So here we have the IRT tool. We have our list of different agents where we can pick out messages from. And I have a list here of my different systems. And I want to record from this system. And then I say select this one. I would select add module, and then I'm ready to test with this. And now I've added the modules to it. I would then click it again and record messages. And with record messages, I can define what type of input message I'm getting. In this case, it's an EDIFACT message. And I'm going to use a splitter for my testing because this is using the B2B add-on. And then we want to send the message into the B2B add-on. For most test cases, we will not use that, so we will just override it and say when we're testing, the message should be sent in with these information. So if our productive system is called something differently in test, we can do it like that. And then we can extract message information. So if you are getting a lot of different partners and those are important for you, you can extract those automatically. And so you can see what are the different partners that we have. And now I want to record 2 messages. I would say start. And then I'll wait till I got some messages processed. So now I have sent some messages through. And if I click here on the recordings, I can see I got now a new test case. We have expected 2 messages. We got 2 and received 2 that was being processed. It's a EDIFACT, so it says messages is auto. So we would create a test case based on this. And if we click this, we can then go to the list. Either we can go directly, or I just want to show you where you also can see these. So we got a list of test cases here. And then we can see we got this orders going on here. We can see the details of this. And we can see we got these 2 messages here. So I also updated the mapping. So I just want to run the test. Just for run. Let's see what the result is. So we got an error. And if we go here, we can download the report. And in the report, we would get details about the links to the different messages, so we can easily see the messages that are being sent, received, what they were. We can see here that we are getting that this segment was deleted and it's not in the actual payload. So if we go back to IoT, we could go in here, we could view the results, see the differences, and in here we would also see what is being changed. Notice it does not say that this field create time has been updated. That's because when we created our test case, or in our configuration of the test, we have the option to set up different ignore elements. So if it's XML, we would ignore using XPath. It's possible to ignore also in Edifact and X12. So that we're able to just only focus on the fields that really change. So all our test cases should run and not give any errors. If we just have a look at some of the synchronous testing we have done, then we would see, for instance, this one that gives an error. We can see the view results on this, and here we can see we are getting this message in. We got two comparisons, so we can see that it's only in this part we are getting some fields that is being changed from uppercase to lowercase. So with this, we're able to see what's going on in the message on synchronous, both directions. So the features we have is, for migration, we have the ability to upload a zip file of your in and outgoing messages, so you can verify that whatever you send in is also what you're expecting. So yeah, B2B migration projects really helpful for. We have the ability to do B2B add-on separator scenarios, as you saw here. We have the ability to test your module and dynamic configuration or dynamic properties if they change. There is smart comparison of Edifact, X12, text, and XML, where you can ignore the fields and the elements that's okay, they're being changed. And then it works both with synchronous and asynchronous messages, so we can test everything that you're doing on your landscape. With IoT, why use it? It's because you want to check that everything works the same way after you apply, for instance, a support package. With this, you can just run all the test cases, and within an hour, depending on the number of test cases, you can see if everything works out okay, or you need to do some changes before you can move on to your productive system. It allows you to check if mappings have changed. So if you're updating a mapping, adding new features, you can verify that the existing messages is always okay and it's not being changed. So this is also useful if you have a lot of people working on your PI system doing a lot of new functionalities, that updating function libraries, modules, and stuff like that. Will this affect any of the existing messages that you have? As we talked about it, it's useful in migration, where you can just upload the messages coming from your third-party EDI system, and then you want to reduce the risk in the projects, because you don't want to make sure that the partners would be receiving the same messages as before, and then they would not be able to see anything that should not, or any problems with their messages. So you're certain that they're getting what they got before the project. So there's a free trial of it. You can go to figaf.com/IoT and try it out and see how well it performs and what you can do with it. So with this, I'm looking forward to see and get your response on the tool and hear how well you think it's running in your landscape.